Hey traders, what's up? We got the watch list video here for Monday, January 27th. SPY kind of had an ugly day on Friday, and I think the last I checked, the Dow futures are down a couple hundred points. I've been out most of the weekend, so I'm not really up on the news. Um, but the quick glance I did around before I started looking at charts uh, tells me that the coronavirus is probably uglier and spreading quicker than they thought. And I kind of said that in chat on Friday that, those are the ones to watch. And if you're going to hold something over the weekend, that might be the way to do it. As you guys know, I don't even hold my wife overnight. But if I was going to hold a stock overnight, it certainly would have been a virus related play because we knew we had the weekend. And I didn't really expect good news to come out over the next 2 days as it's spreading. So something to think about. Anyway, we'll see what happens in the morning. I'm expecting a market gap. I'm going to start off with kind of an interesting take on a stock, and that's Disney. You can't see it on this chart. I don't have the 200-day on this chart. This is the one I kind of default to as my 5-minute trading chart that I blow up for these videos. And because of that, because it's normally my 5-minute chart showing you the daily here, I don't put the 200-day on it because that can kind of smash down candles if the 200-day is kind of far away from where it's trading, or the 200 period. Anyway, long story short, the 200-day on Disney is 138.26. I use the simple for the 200-day. And you've already had a few red days in a row, and I'm pretty sure Disney's getting hit. I think Shanghai Disney's completely closed, and any theme park where there's international visitors, you could see taking a bit of a hit. But if we get what we call intraday downside shape, maybe into that 200-day, or if it just blows through that early, I still want to watch Disney for a bounce play if we get a proper kind of shape play, just for snapback bounces. We'll see. Who knows? Maybe we get a couple big red days in it, and then I'll be much more interested in Disney for a day trade. MNK had a really nice rally here for about a week, and then a few days lower on declining volume. I want to watch that for a potential bounce. NNVC, we're getting into one of the virus-related plays. This thing's been just what we call stupid strong. And it looks like after hours Friday, it closed at 8:45. Glancing at my charts, looks like it closed out after hours Friday at 10:20. So absolutely one to watch. Things have been on fire. CASA, C-A-S-A, nice breakout on Friday. We'll see if we get any kind of follow through in that name. SXTC, this is kind of a sleeper pick for me. Let me zoom in a little bit and explain. Pretty sure, and you can let me know in an email if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure they make personal protective equipment. And I thought they had a headline on Friday, in China, by the way, a Chinese company. And I thought they had a headline on Friday that they're having to ramp up production due to the coronavirus. So I don't know. You can't help but think a PPE company in China might be in the sweet spot, right? So it did have, and I'll show you 5-minute candles on Friday, it did have this big volume spike, but it ended up giving a lot of it back. My thinking going into the closing bell was if I had to swing one, this was kind of an interesting one if you grab this near the close. But who knows? Maybe it doesn't show any strength on Monday. But I think it's one to watch, even though right now you see the volume spike, but it's really not. It's got good support here from the last week, but it really didn't gain any traction on Friday. A couple of other virus-related plays. APT, they make the masks. And so that had a big pop. It gave back a lot of it. I had a nice trade in that one. Called that kind of an opening range breakout right about here on Friday. It had a really nice trade in it. Lake, let me go back to the daily. Lake's kind of closed where it opened, but it's also in that category, so we're going to watch that one. AHPI, another kind of sympathy play to that APT. They also make medical masks, and I think they're kind of emergency related, so there might be something here. To me, it was really interesting on Friday after the initial pop, and I realized what they did. And actually, hats off to Al, because in pre-market, he talked about this one. But then, it just got no volume all morning, so I didn't even really have it on a chart until I saw this volume spike right here. I'll scroll over, kind of show you what it looked like in real time. Keep in mind, I'm showing you 1-minute candle. So all of a sudden, people figured out what they do, and it becomes, the next protective mask play, right? Unfortunately, the halt rule kicked in right there because it moved too quickly, too fast. Anyway, so I actually got an email. I'll answer that real quick. Somebody said, why did you call that through 3 out of the halt? And just to be clear, once it came out of the halt, I didn't call it through 3. You guys know that's not how I trade. But look what happens. And I did email you back, by the way, if you're watching this. Look what happens on a 1-minute basis. It tops out at 3, then came all the way back down to 260. Next thing you know, right back up, threatening 3 again. So that's when I called it long. There was a seller on the tape. It was like the most recent, hey, this one is a sympathy play to APT. It was day 1 of a breakout for this one and a low float. To me, this was total sweet spot, the stock to watch. And I grabbed it through 3, and let me switch to 5-minute candles now to kind of clean things up. So got long right there through 3. And I appreciate the email, by the way. It made sense, because if you just thought I bought it blindly through 3 right out of the halt, that's not what we teach. But it gave a nice setup, right? Anyway, I don't know, 20 minutes later, it pushes through 4. I had a big trade in this one. And anyway, gave back a lot before the close, but also well above its open. Absolutely one to watch. Low float, protective mask play. Keep your eyes on AHPI. VIR also seems to be that in that virus related. It says biotech, probably not masks, probably maybe a potential, I don't know, I don't want to say cure, but potential treatment play. And I didn't research it at all. I just, I see biotech, and I see it listed in that same news headlines with the other stocks. So relatively new issue and a strong close, and even this volume spike still not even 500,000. So it's one to watch. And then lastly, I threw NVAX on there, which had that pop with the virus news coming out about a week ago, and then it hasn't gained any traction since after doing an offering. But you could also argue it's holding up pretty darn well after an offering. Looks like it closed out after hours at 8:36, so maybe they're going to finally run this one again as well. We'll add gappers to this in the pre-market, and just be careful out there. The market's a little bit spooked, and if it's not virus related, most things seem to be getting hit. So I will be looking for some snapback downside, shape intraday snapback plays though, on more solid stocks like a Disney. So that's another theme to keep in mind. I'm done babbling. We'll see y'all in chat on Monday morning.